Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Stoveside Chats. My name is Chad Blackwelder with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. Excuse me. We've got a little bit of a different format. Well, same format, but we're kind of literally turning the tables. Heidi Bilotto of Heidi Bilotto Cooks is going to be joining us today as the guest interviewer. So she's going to be interviewing me today. So I'm just waiting for her to join in. Hope everybody had a good Christmas and getting ready for a fun and safe New Year's Eve. Middle Sound Mariculture. Thank you for joining in, sir. Mr. Hargrove. Okay, let's see. All right, we're just waiting on Heidi. Let's see. All next month, we will be, or I'll be interviewing North Carolina producers and kind of doing product highlights. And then the first Wednesday of every month, we're going to do like a North Carolina product profile as we continue to interview chefs, and also got some distillers lined up. And Darren Bullock, hey man, Design Ranch, thanks for joining us. So that'll be fun. We'll introduce some products into the mix and get to know those producers and find out more about their products and where you can find them, that sort of thing. Making sure I didn't miss Heidi here. Oh, there she is. Hey Heidi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I can. I need to adjust something here. Hmm. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
So, everybody, this is Heidi Bilotto, Heidi Bilotto Cooks in Charlotte. She is the guest interviewer today, and she's going to interview me. Heidi's been on the show before. We had a great conversation. So, Heidi, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, Chad, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me.
We are so glad to have you, and I thank you for this opportunity. It is so much fun to talk about somebody who believes in the got to be and see principle, and is a lover of local products such as you, and you now work for the Department of Agriculture as a marketing specialist, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. And you deal a lot with domestic products, right? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, that's right. So, I do, I'm a food service marketing specialist. And my background is culinary, so I kind of bring that to this role. So, basically, I work in between North Carolina producers and distributors and end users, such as chefs and restaurateurs, and try to promote North Carolina products and make sure that all my contacts are aware of what's going on in the state and kind of tie them into either, sometimes the producers who come to us who want help marketing their products, they want to continue to self-distribute. So in that case, I'll try to introduce them to as many chefs and end users as I can. Sometimes they're looking for distribution, so we help them pursue those goals as well. And you've been to the Flavor Show, which kind of
Right.
highlights the North Carolina products and gives those folks the platform to have buyers come in from wholesale and retail entities to hopefully do business with these guys and have them as part of their wholesale inventory or retail inventory.
And you do a great job of making chefs aware of what is out there and what is locally grown, produced, raised, caught, made in the state of North Carolina. And I think part of that is because you've actually been on the other end of that. So you are a chef. You've had your own restaurant. You were born in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yes. So tell us what restaurants you've worked in here and a little bit about the restaurant that you owned.
Okay. Well, I went to Johnson and Wales in Charleston, graduated in '92, many moons ago. But when I lived down there, I was fortunate to work for Chef Louis Osteen. God rest his soul, who's a great guy, sweet chef. So I had worked for his brother, who worked for Louis at Pawleys Island. And when he knew when I was leaving that restaurant to go to school, he put me in touch with Louis, and I bugged Louis for about 3 months until he finally was like, "I'm gonna have to hire you, aren't I?" So he hired me. So I worked for Louis for a while, and I met Ben Barker and Karen Barker there at Magnolia Grill, and worked for them for 5 years as their sous chef. And I worked at Pinehurst Country Club for a while. My brother and I owned a restaurant called the Wild Turtle back in the mid '90s, crazy mid '90s, in Chapel Hill. Had that for a couple of years, and then had a couple restaurants in Sanford, Bella Bistro, and also the Steel Pig. And the Steel Pig Bella Bistro turned into the Steel Pig after the recession in '08. We were never really a fine dining restaurant, but we were considered the fancy restaurant in Sanford. So business wasn't what it should have been, or what it needed to be back then. So we changed the concept, changed the name, and it worked. So one restaurant led to another.
That's great. That's great. Do you miss it? Do you miss being in the kitchen?
No, nope, not at all. I love being able to cook at home, and I don't miss the restaurant hours. I love being able to still hang out with chefs and communicate with those guys and stay in touch with them, and
Right.
kind of live vicariously through them. It's a lot of fun, and keep up with a lot of those guys on Facebook and Instagram, and definitely inspired by what they do to try to replicate those things at home now.
Well, you certainly, if anybody follows you on Facebook or on Instagram, which they certainly should, you post beautiful pictures of food that you make at home, and I know you've done a lot of different videos for people. So it just is always inspiring to see those things, and you can see how your restaurant background, you still do very chefy things.
Yeah, I can do those for two dinners at a time now. I can't. I'm out of shape. I can't do 80 or 90 or 100 covers anymore. So, but yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, one of the things that you do a lot now in your role at the Department of Agriculture is that you're involved in a lot of festivals that celebrate local chefs and local products. And so I want you to talk a little bit about those, because you've gotten involved, you've brought some new things to the table um, as you have developed your position at the Department of Agriculture. I know one of those things is an event that is near and dear to my heart, which is the NCRLA Chef Showdown. And I'm so happy to be working with you to plan that again for 2021, working with you in the Department of Agriculture. So, but I know that and you and I actually met at a festival, not a festival, an event that is no longer, called Competition Dining. So we've known each other for a long time, but tell us about some of the other festivals and events, like the North Carolina Seafood Festival or the new Chow Chow Festival, and how you're a part of those.
Yeah, the Seafood Festival, well, that and the State Fair are the two biggest ones that we're a part of. We've been doing those for a long time, obviously, and they're a lot of fun. So I've tried to expand our footprint across the state by getting us involved with Thrive Festival in Raleigh, that is sponsored by Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and the folks at Octagon helped put that on. And so we partner with them doing that. It's a very chef and local food driven event. Then there's the Chow Chow Festival in Asheville, which 2019 was its first year, and obviously didn't have it this year, but it's a great event. And Heidi and I hosted the demo stage there the first year, and that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of cool chefs on.
It was a blast. Yeah.
Learned a lot. Didn't know that we were going to be hosting the stage for the whole weekend, but that was kind of a last minute, like, hey, can you guys do this? But it worked out, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, then there's the Chef Showdown, which is a blast. Takes I guess, what does it span, like 3 or 4 months total from start to finish?
Really, whole year. Yeah, it's
whole year. So yeah,
from the time people sign up to the time we have our final event. But it's events across.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are all, and I wanted to, I'm not a big fan of the word influencer, but I feel like chefs are the original influencer. So I really like reaching out to those folks who are always very generous with their time on top of how busy they are at their restaurants. But getting those chefs to kind of play the role of the Pied Piper with some of these North Carolina ingredients and expose the general public to them, and hopefully, try to get more people used to seeing that Got to Be NC logo that's all over the state, that shows people that chefs and other end users are being very aware about shopping local.
And Chad, I want you to talk about too how it's not just promoting those ingredients and those products in the state. You really work hard to promote North Carolina products and ingredients and proteins across the country. So talk a little bit about the Chicago Food Show that you do.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We've been part of that for, I think, 15 or 16 years now, give or take.
Wow.
So, and you kind of, doing a big industry show like that, a big trade show, the longer you're there, you kind of get first line dibs the next year as far as being able to pick out your spot. So we always get a really great spot in the busy South Hall at the McCormick Center in Chicago. But we do a pavilion, so we bring with us. We worked with a company called Standout Services, and they built this beautiful pavilion for us. It's a 6-vendor pavilion. So part of my role throughout the year is to, extend invitations to Got to Be NC companies to be part of that 4-day international trade show where there's some 80 or 90,000 people come through. So it's a great opportunity for folks around the world to see what North Carolina's doing. We do a lot of pork and a lot of sweet potatoes, and we do that very, very well, but we do a lot of other cool stuff, miso and Carolina Gold rice. And I'm talking to Tidewater Grain about going to the Chicago food shows. Hopefully hopefully the show will happen in the spring, and
Right.
Tidewater will be there showing off their beautiful heirloom rice.
Yeah, a favorite product of mine too, as you know. And it's so interesting that not surprising, but that North Carolina has so many unusual products like caviar, like okay, now I'm not going to be able to name them all, but just different things that you just don't even think about coming out of the South or coming out of North Carolina. And so, what a great thing that you are there, not only promoting to chefs in the state but outside of the state as well, to make everybody aware. I have no idea what our time looks like, but I have more questions. Are we good?
We got about 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. See, I should have been more on the ball as host, keeping up with it. But no, the question just went out of my head. But we'll go on to this next thing, and I'll think of it in a second. So, are you familiar with James Lipton and the Actors Studio? With that program?
Yes.
So, at the end of every show, he asks each of his guests a series of 10 questions. And it is called the Bernard Pivot questionnaire because it's named after a French show host who used to do the same thing. But pivot is spelled the same as the word pivot. So as we are all pivoting and have pivoted this year, I thought it would be a fun way to kind of wind up this interview. And I didn't make all that up, but it turned into a happy coincidence because I really did want to ask you all these questions. And I just thought it would be fun. So you just say the first thing that comes to your mind and you can give a little explanation. So here's the first question. What is your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yes.
Gosh.
Of all the
Lard.
words. What?
Lard.
I love it. I love it. What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
What in life turns you on?
Food.
Mm-hmm. What turns you off?
Mean people.
What noise or smell do you love?
Oh gosh. I'll tell you. I thought about this the other night. I was grilling and I was putting cracked black pepper on. I think I was cooking some chicken burgers or something. But the way cracked black pepper smells when it hits charcoal, it
Oh,
reminds me of the first job I had working a live fire grill, and I always remember it's just this toasty, spicy kind of aroma, very
that's
warm.
right. And I can assure you that is an answer that James Lipton never got.
That's right.
Cracked black pepper hitting a charcoal grill. What noise or smell do you hate?
Um, Gosh, pickled daikon. I love how it tastes. I don't know. It smells horrible, but I love how it tastes.
I was going to ask if you'd had some sort of bad experience with it. Okay, now this next one you may not be able to exactly answer, given that the where we are, but you can tell us the letter that it starts with and a word that it rhymes with. So, what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, man. You know, it's funny. Let me preface this really quick. One of the interviews that I did a few months ago, one of the chefs said a cuss word, and one of the higher ups reminded somebody to tell me to like make sure nobody cusses. So
So just tell us what it rhymes with and what it's the letter, if we need that, what the letter it starts with.
son of a hitch.
Perfect. Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Mm.
So outside of being a chef and an ambassador of wonderful local products, what else would you like to do?
Well, I think Ricky Moore and I were talking about this last week. I grew up with an art background, so probably be something art related, maybe commercial art or graphic design or something
Oh,
like that.
cool. Oh, that's really cool. What profession would you like not to do? Or would you not like to do?
Gosh, I don't know. The person who puts the little plastic tabs on shoelaces, that seems like that would be a pretty boring job.
That is great. That is great. And here's the last one for this part. If heaven exists, when what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Can you take over for 20 minutes while I run to the bank?
Chad, that's great. It's so much fun. Tell us what is, I love this whole format, and I know a lot of other people have too. So, and I love, this really is your stove at home. When you do stove side chats, you really are
Yeah,
sitting
this is it.
at your
Yep.
very cool stove that we all want to own um, at your home. So
I don't
tell,
know if you guys can see this, but my brother got me this cool new microphone for Christmas.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hope it's working right. I'll find out when I watch this video later,
Yeah,
but
no, it's
I think I got everything hooked up correctly. But
yeah,
yes, this is my
that's,
kitchen, this is my stove, and
that's
it gets used quite often.
that's very, we need a photo, a better, like we need some press photos of you with that. Um, so tell us what is, besides the new microphone, what is coming up for you on Stoveside Chats? You've already got people booked into the new year.
Yeah, we have all of January booked. Well, I've got our buddies from Vegetable Kingdom in
Yeah,
Asheville. They'll be on
Pat and Ann.
next week. And then I think I have the couple who owns James Creek Cider House for the
Yeah,
second week. And then Jeff Coker from Burwell Farms in Warrenton. They're growing the first ever Italian style white truffles in the state.
coolest.
And oh, Hall River Mushrooms will be the fourth guest for January. And then the first Wednesday of every month after that, we'll dedicate to doing a Got to Be in the Sea product profile.
Oh, cool. So up
Yeah.
to this point, you've really done more chefs and restaurateurs, and I interviewed with you, so I guess some media, but now you're kind of turning to products and fitting the people who make these great products in, which is very cool.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at who was watching the show, and there's a lot of industry folks, but there's a lot of the general public as well. So, you know, I think that for the most part, the general public is interested in the chef stories and the product stories, but more professionals are interested in that part of it. So I wanted to talk about some products and let the general public know also what's available and where they can find these products in retail settings or, shipped direct or, whatever the case may be.
Right. And it is amazing how a lot of local North Carolina products do have great systems to order online. While lots of little stores and markets and even big major grocery store chains carry their products, you can, almost everybody that we've talked about today, you can order online. And so that it will be great for people to actually meet the people behind the soup and the condiments and the truffles and the dairy
Yeah,
products and all of that. So Chad, we thank you so much on behalf of everybody who follows you and got to be NC on Instagram and on Facebook. So thank you so much for what you do and all you bring to the table and how you help promote everything that is grown, raised, caught, and made in the state of North Carolina. If I can
that's
quote
right.
of agriculture there. So, and thank you again for having me on as guest host. I've had a fun time today.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. And again, like I've had this role for a little over 2 years now, and Heidi has been a great resource and always has great ideas to help market things. So thank you for that. And tell Tom that I said hello, and you guys have a great New Year's Eve, and I'll talk to you very soon.
Absolutely. You and Michelle as well. And I hope everybody out there has a happy and healthy and safe New Year's Eve. Thanks, Chad.
Absolutely.
Take care.
See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was me being interviewed by Heidi Bilotto. Heidi Bilotto cooks in Charlotte. Check her out online. She does all kinds of cool stuff. And she kind of does a lot. She does like what I do a lot. I mean, she works with, between, she doesn't really deal with distributors so much, but she works with a lot of producers and chefs and end users. And you guys make sure you're checking out her blog posts and everything she does. She's always has great recipe ideas. She's always interviewing somebody from North Carolina who's doing something really, really cool in the world of food and beverage. So thank you, Heidi. All right, you guys, please have a safe and happy New Year's Eve. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and waving and all that good stuff. And I will see you next year.